Days passed, then weeks. Eventually, search teams were sent. What they found on a mountain slope called Kolatyakal, a name that translates roughly to Dead Mountain, would confuse investigators for decades. The first thing discovered was the tent. It stood partially collapsed under snow. But something was immediately wrong. According to reports, the tent had been cut open from the inside. Not unzipped, not torn accidentally. Cut. Their boots, heavy winter coats, and essential supplies were still inside, which suggested one thing. The hikers left the tent in a hurry. Outside, faint footprints led downhill, away from the campsite. Barefoot, some wearing only socks, some in light clothing, unsuitable for the temperature. There were no signs of a struggle, no signs of another group, just 9 sets of footprints, fading into snow. The first bodies were found near the tree line. 2 of the hikers lay beneath a large cedar tree. They were wearing minimal clothing. Their hands showed signs of frostbite and minor burns, possibly from attempting to start a fire. Above them, branches were broken high up the tree, as if someone had tried to climb it. Why would they climb a tree in the middle of a frozen night? No official explanation exists. Between the tree and the campsite, 3 more bodies were found. They appeared to be attempting to return to the tent, frozen mid-step, as if time had simply stopped for them. Reports suggest their cause of death was hypothermia. Tragic, but still explainable. The remaining 4, however, were found months later, and this is where the story changes. Their bodies were discovered in a ravine, buried under several meters of snow. What shocked investigators were the injuries. One had severe chest trauma, another had a crushed skull. These injuries, according to forensic reports, were consistent with high-impact force, similar to a car accident. Yet there were no external wounds matching such trauma. No broken skin, no signs of assault. And one woman was missing her tongue. Some also had missing eyes. Investigators noted traces of radiation on certain clothing items, and still, no clear cause. The official Soviet conclusion stated that the hikers died due to a compelling natural force. That phrase explained everything and nothing. The case was closed. Over the years, many theories emerged. Some believe an avalanche forced the group to flee the tent. This would explain the urgency and the cut fabric. But skeptics point out inconsistencies. The slope angle was relatively gentle. There was no classic avalanche debris, and footprints remained visible for some distance. If it was an avalanche, it behaved unusually. Another theory involves military testing. The area was remote. Secret experiments were not unheard of during that era. Some believe the hikers witnessed something they shouldn't have: explosions, parachute mines, or weapons tests. Reports mention strange orange lights seen in the sky around that time by other witnesses, but no official records confirm military involvement. And without records, theory remains theory. Then there is infrasound. Some scientists suggest powerful winds around the mountain could have created low-frequency sound waves. Infrasound is known to cause anxiety, panic, and disorientation in humans. Some believe the hikers were overwhelmed by an invisible force. Panic without a visible threat. They fled the tent not because of danger, but because of fear itself. But can fear alone cause such injuries? No one knows. Others suggest a psychological breakdown within the group. Stress, exhaustion, extreme cold. But this group was trained to handle exactly these conditions. And group hysteria does not explain crushed ribs or skull fractures. There are also theories involving wildlife, but no animal tracks were found, no bite marks, no evidence of a struggle. Nature, it seems, was present, but silent. Modern investigations have revisited the case. In recent years, Russian authorities reopened it, leaning again toward an avalanche-like event. They offered refined models and simulations. Still, critics argue that important questions remain unanswered. Why cut the tent instead of using the exit? Why scatter in multiple directions? Why leave behind essential clothing? Why injuries that suggest massive force without visible damage? Perhaps the most unsettling aspect is not the mystery itself. It's the restraint of the evidence. No message, no warning, no final note explaining their fear. Just frozen moments, preserved by snow. The Dyatlov Pass incident sits at an uncomfortable intersection between science and uncertainty, between nature and something unnamed. It resists closure not because of lack of data, but because every explanation leaves something behind. More than 60 years later, hikers still avoid that slope. Not because it is cursed, but because it reminds us of something deeply human. That even preparation, experience, and logic cannot protect us from every unknown. So the question remains, on a cold mountain in the middle of the night, what force was strong enough to make 9 rational people run into the snow and never return?